MABUHAY! I am your host, TAB Cobalt, and you are listening to Broad Talks. Broad Talks is a program at TAB where a broadcasting graduate, such as me, talks about different topics and in turn, broadcasts them on the internet. It's a mix of a podcast/interview type of deal. This is the first episode of Broad Talks, and I thank all of you who are listening right now. I apologize for all of these sound problems. This is a bare room. There's a bit of an echo and outside noises. Hopefully in the future of Broad Talks, these noises will be eliminated. This episode, we will be remembering the norm, misconceptions of Japan. In this episode, I will be setting out to remembering the norms and dismantling misconceptions of Japanese society. These misconceptions or stereotypes are often found in forums or even under YouTube videos. We are in an effort to seek out the truth and battling the inadequacies. Obviously, I'm not a Japan expert, nor am I a sociologist. That is why I have chosen to talk to someone who has extensive experience concerning the Japanese lifestyle. He has been living in Japan for 4 years, a close friend of mine and fellow enlightened individual, Ken Kaneko. Say hi.
Hey, sup guys?
Sup, hello, mabuhay to you.
Bye to you too, bro.
How do you greet somebody in Japanese? Because in, popular culture and anime, it's always what do you think is the misconceived notion of greeting when it comes to the Japanese language?
Well, normally you just greeted someone such as konnichiwa, which is like hello or hi, or depending on what time is it, like if it's morning, you greet them with ohayo gozaimasu, which is good morning, or maybe if it's night, it's konbanwa, which is good evening. So it depends on.
Ohayo gozaimasu is actually proper. It is not just a weeb thing.
No.
It's good to know.
Yes. It's probably just because I think it's being popularized in anime community, and maybe it's getting out of hand. I think that
Possibly.
maybe the conceptions of greeting became out of hand.
Yeah.
It's still true that greeting konnichiwa, ohayo gozaimasu, or konbanwa is proper, but you should know when to use those words. You might use it konbanwa while it was still afternoon, or maybe if it's morning. So you just need to know when to use those greeting properly.
That's good to know. Yeah, that's good to know. Good to know that we're not doing it wrong this entire time.
People would look at you like an idiot for misusing a simple word.
Is that true though? Would people look at you like an idiot or?
Well, I don't think, but most likely they will just tell you that you're using the word wrong. Well, rather than criticize you, they will first tell you what's wrong and tell you how you use it properly.
Interesting. All right. Well, moving forward, I have a set of questions here that most likely are what I think and what other people think are the misconceptions or the stereotypes, so to speak. And I would like your help when it comes to dismantling them, especially since, if I'm not mistaken, you have been in Japan for 4 years, correct?
Yeah, 4 years and counting, man.
That's good. Right, so first question is, are the Japanese streets much cleaner than other countries? I don't know if you have been to other countries, but you have been to the Philippines, and I guess that's a good comparison. What do you think?
Yeah, comparing it to maybe Philippines, it's much cleaner. People doesn't really throw out their trash on the streets that much, and there's garbage cans everywhere, and it's sorted out by flammable and inflammable, which is what do you call it? Something normal here.
The way they collect garbage is much more it's much more complicated as compared to what you're used to in the Philippines.
Not really, because the collection of garbages here are what do you call it? There's a set date. There's a set date. Like for example, in our home around here, every Tuesday and Friday they collect the flammable garbages. Every Monday they collect electronics and other materials that can be recycled.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then by Thursday, they collect the bottles and cans. So you can just remember when to throw the trashes and throw it properly. There's a designated trash place where you can place your trashes, and the trash collectors will collect it.
So flammables counts as things that can be recycled, or are they just set to
No,
flame and ignored?
I'm not really sure, but flammables would mean like plastics or styrofoams, anything flammable. But though the non-flammables would be sorted out too. And
So, all right,
one
continue.
thing too is you cannot use colored plastics. You cannot see what's inside.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You can use white, but not that white where you can't see what's inside. Mostly they use transparent plastics because I don't know if it's some kind of code or maybe it's just something they just want to do, but not many people uses colored plastic,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
colored garbage plastics, since you can mostly see transparent plastics in the garbage.
All right. All right. This is another question that I actually found interesting. I was listening to the Trash Taste podcast. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
Mm, yeah, I'm not familiar with it.
Well, it's about these anitubers who talk about what it's like living in Japan. And the thing that they said is that eating out is much more cheaper than cooking home meals. What do you think about that?
For me, cooking home meals is much cheaper than eating out. Where I live, well, you can eat out. There's like a ramen stalls or maybe some fried stalls or anything. Well,
Mm-hmm.
you can eat there sometimes, but if you're talking about eating out pretty much every day, well, I don't really recommend it because if you calculate how much you spend it, yeah, it's really just an expensive hobby or something you do.
So it's like in
But
the Philippines, when you eat out, it's gonna be a burden on the wallet.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You can do it sometimes, but not really recommended for something you do every night, every day, because vegetables here and any other products gets lowered down the price when it comes to night.
Oh, all right.
Tonight,
When it becomes nighttime, do the
yeah, they put
prices
some
get
discount,
slashed in
some
half,
stickers there.
or is there like a specific price they go down to?
Not really specific, but the prices are depending on how much or how many the product contains. For example, the pork, it depends on how much fat or how much meat it has, and they base it on the weight,
Mm-hmm.
and that's
Mm-hmm.
where they get the price.
Mm-hmm.
And by the evening, they just maybe I don't know, put some 10% discount, and then you can see how much the new prices will be.
So that's like
So
that's
it's
actually no, that's better because
yeah,
yeah, if you want to home cook meals and just pack meals, you can just buy at
yeah.
nighttime.
Yes, if you wanna go cheap, you can just always buy some products at nighttime since by that time it will the all the products mostly will be cheaper.
That's good to know. Another question that I'm really curious is I don't know if this is just a pop culture thing, but a lot of people I know tend to glorify or just really really make it an aesthetic that a Japanese 7-Eleven and other convenience stores are a cut above the edge compared to what they experience here in the Philippines. Do you think that's true?
Yeah, actually, I didn't believe it in the first place, but when I started living here,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
7-Eleven and other convenience store didn't just have foods and frozen foods and drinks, but they have some electronic parts. For example, a charger.
Oh,
They have
really?
a charger there. They have
Really?
yeah, they
That's
have a
funny.
charger there. Even Apple charger and
Really weird.
earphones.
You think that maybe it's for the foreigners or is it for the locals as well?
No, it's I think it's something needed by the people. They don't just put everything. I think they put what people need
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because there are some what do you call briefs and pants. There are even shirts. They sell clothes, but not
That's pretty
the
good.
branded clothes, like the simple clothes, plain shirt, some plain pants. I mean
Makita mo sa ano,
underwears.
the ones that you'll see in like farmers or isitan or something.
Yes, but they just I don't know, they just sell the simple ones.
All right.
And if you need, there are some alcohols
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
and everything you need basically. There are some vegetables too if you want.
So almost everything that you would need in a short notice.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
everything. But probably mostly.
I think this leads to the next question. Is there really a vending machine for everything?
Well, I'm not really the person who goes everywhere, but based on my experience,
Uh-huh.
there's actually like everything you need in vending machines. But the problem is where to look for them or where to find them is kind of questionable
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because most commonly vending machines you see is drink vending machines.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And if you want something other than drinks, well, the thing I have seen are ready-made foods. For example, commonly vending machines is vending machines, but when you go to the highway stopway, there is a vending machine that sells ready-made foods. For example, takoyaki or what do you call it? Squid balls.
Ooh, no way.
Or
So there's a
there's a,
vending machine for food that's like hot.
it's ready to eat food. Just like hamburgers or hot dogs.
Have you tried it? Have you tried it?
Yeah, I've tried it a few times, man, and it's good. Yeah, well, not as good as locally made hamburger, but it's good enough that it will satisfy your hunger.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So the vending machine really goes by its purpose,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
satisfying your
Understandable, yeah.
needs.
So for you, have you ever experienced the Japanese nightlife?
Well, Japanese nightlife for me is really not like what I think because in some places Japanese nightlife is quiet, you know.
Mm-hmm. Because I see people always say that, when it's night in Japan, a lot of salarymen start drinking, and places that offer food, like here in the Philippines, when it's like the weekend. But I don't know if it's true. Some people say that the Japanese nightlife is much more vibrant as compared to here in the Philippines. What can you say about that?
I think that only applies at places that is crowded. For example, Tokyo. Tokyo is really lively even at night because there are so many places you can go there. For example, some pubs or host clubs or party clubs. It is really
Who host clubs?
yeah yeah host clubs and party clubs is kind of common here, and not really a rare thing. Well, that only applies to places like Tokyo or any places that is so crowded. But where I live, nightlife here is quiet.
Mm-hmm.
So there's
Mm-hmm.
nothing much but the scenery of the nature, houses lit up by the lights of their home, and just the fresh air of night.
Mm-hmm. So, talking about where you live, where are you currently staying? You don't have to be specific. You just have to say, what's the place, if people are familiar with it.
Yeah, I live around Saitama.
Uh huh. Saitama.
Yeah, around there. So Saitama is really not as big as Tokyo, but it's beside Tokyo.
Mm-hmm. But it is close by to Tokyo.
Yeah, it's right beside Tokyo.
I see. I see. That makes it easier, I guess, for tourists to actually visit.
Yeah, if they wanna explore Saitama, there are some places you can go around here, and it will just take any train. Actually, you can ride any train just to go to Saitama.
Is your current living condition in Saitama ideal for you? Do you have any plans to like move to a different prefecture or city, or is Saitama your go-to?
Right now,
Mm-hmm.
for me, Saitama is the perfect place actually because where I live right now is so quiet. It just gives you peace. Unlike Tokyo, where it is lively and loud, where I live in Saitama is actually so peaceful. It is like you're in the mountains. There are not much people outside. almost no one is outside, and that's good for me. And I don't really plan to move out anytime soon, or maybe if I do, maybe around the place where it's peaceful.
All right. When it comes to thrift stores or secondhand stores, I got this misconception from watching one Japanese vlogger. He said that most of Japanese secondhand items are well kept to an almost pristine condition. Like if it's secondhand, there's almost no damage. What can you say about that?
Second-hand stores or thrift stores is what it is, and it depends on how the person used it or how the person kept it. The product is actually well kept, but mostly, yeah, the products are here sometimes have some issues, and there are some products that are really in good condition that it looks like brand new. And there are some products in thrift stores that is actually brand new and actually have the brand tags in them. Like it's not used, just the person bought it and then just sell it in the thrift stores or the secondhand stores, which is kind of mind blowing, because I don't. By the case of Philippines, everything is everything is really used.
It's used until it's not usable anymore.
Yeah, there's really a big difference when we talk about the second-hand store or thrift stores, and especially thrift stores here or second-hand stores here actually have anything you need, even PS4 or any or what do you call it, PC parts or tables, hardwares, furnitures.
Would you say that the price is worth?
It depends on what product actually plan to buy. So when you go to the thrift store, it's better if you look at the product truly, because you may not see that there are some products that looks well kept and not really used, but actually the issue was just hiding somewhere you can see unless you truly check it.
So there is still a risk involved.
Yes, but mostly everything's well kept and people doesn't really abuse their products that much before they sell it out.
All right, all right. So before I move on to the next question, I'm really wondering. You know how Filipinos like us always use the word ano to like extend our sentences when we're trying to think of something to say, right?
Yeah.
Because of, I don't know, maybe it's because of anime, but is it true that Japanese people do this as well?
No. They actually use it sometimes. They say ano or to. They can sort out what they want to say. So they will say eto, ano, something like.
Okay. So they also use it. That's funny.
Sometimes I use it too, though.
Oh, you use it so even if you are, a Filipino, you adopted that way of saying it.
Yeah, well, if you live here that long, eventually you'll adopt what other people do.
So, moving on to the next question. When it comes to traveling to other places in Japan, I would really want to know your experiences. Like, is the only way to travel through the train system? Is there like specifics when it comes to traveling with the train system?
Well, yeah. If you want to travel, normally you use buses and trains. But in Japan, there are a lot of train lanes actually, and it depends where do you want to go. Same goes for buses too. If you want to go to Tokyo for example, I want to go to Tokyo from where I live. I need to take a bus that goes to the near train station and then ride the train that goes near Tokyo. And then from that train station, I would go to another train lane, because some train lanes are divided because their destination goes differently. There are some train stations that only goes around Saitama, and there are some train stations that goes are as far as Tokyo and as far as that.
Ooh, all right. So there are local like train systems in every city. In
Yes,
every
yes,
city.
yes. And the trains here are different from other places. There are some I don't know what you call it, but there are some trains that is hanging from above. I
Damn,
forgot how you
that's
call
some
it.
future stuff right there.
Yeah, and actually, there are some trains where you can ride that goes to Tokyo Disneyland, or trains that go straight.
Oh, so they have trains that go to like tourist spots specifically.
Yes, yes, yes.
Oh, I see, I
Yes.
see. So, what for you? Do you travel the trains often?
Yeah, too often.
Uh
Like
huh.
every time I go to work, I travel by train.
So obviously, as a tourist that speaks little to no Japanese, what advice can you give them when it comes to battling this? What seems like a monumental task of trying to understand where to go, trying to avoid being lost.
Well, it's easy if you can really speak Japanese, but if in the case where you can speak Japanese, that's fine too, because Tokyo or in any places, they have some English translated words
Ooh, all
in
right.
the train station.
From
And
major
even if
cities, yeah.
even if you can speak, just prepare that your phone has a Wi-Fi or some internet data translator
Oh,
app,
yeah.
and you can just ask the person or the staff that is in the train station.
Yeah, so
And
that's the advice for people who don't, you don't want to learn about the language.
yeah,
Just want to
and
visit, yeah.
yeah, and mostly it's everything's English translated already, so you just need to find where you want to go, and there's some instructions where what trains to ride, depending on where to go.
Mhm, mhm. Mhm, mhm. Well, that's good because one I think one of the scariest things when it comes to going to a new city is trying to figure out the public transportation system, and especially if there's a large language barrier. As you said, there are English signs. There are people who can actually translate. And have you ever experienced people there who can actually speak English?
Yeah, actually,
Mm-hmm.
even at our store, there are some people who can speak English.
That's good. That's good. So that foreigners won't be too out of place. I mean,
Yeah,
not that foreigners only speak English, but it is a universal language.
yeah, but in the case of Japanese people, not everyone learns English,
Uh huh.
so not everyone can speak English. And I don't know if it's rarely or just a minority, but Japanese people speaking English is not that many.
Uh huh. Uh huh. So when it comes to your experiences walking to and from train stations, have you ever had any bad experiences? Have you ever had a reason to run towards the local law enforcement? It was actually my girlfriend. She suggested this question. One of the misconceptions, or I guess a stereotype, is that when you leave things unattended and you come back, they're still there. How true do you think this is?
It's actually true, but for example, if you're in the streets and you left something,
Yeah.
someone might take your thing, and they will go to the nearest police station,
Oh,
and
they'll surrender it. Yeah.
yeah, they'll surrender the thing,
That's
the lost item there. And eventually, if you lost something on the streets, you can always go to the nearest local police station and try to look for your item. Maybe someone else is surrendered your item there, and most of the times, the items are in there actually.
Has that ever happened to you? That you go to
No, I always keep my things
with the yeah.
with
I
me.
don't
Yeah,
place it on the ground like random
I
loot.
don't. Yeah, I don't really put my things on the ground.
Have you ever had a run-in with the local law enforcement? Not because you did something bad, but because you had to report something. Like, for example, you were robbed. You were petty theft, or that somebody threatened you, something like that.
I didn't, but there's actually a recent case in our store, which is someone bought a food from our store, and that customer said that the change is not and it's missing 5,000 yen.
Oh,
But
that's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of a lot. But when they reviewed the camera, the staff in charge of in the register actually gave
Proper change, yeah.
proper change. Yeah, and you can see in the camera that the customer turned around and put the 5,000 yen in his back pocket and went back to the store
Ooh, he was
and
trying
lied
to, I
about.
know, he was trying to swindle you guys.
Yeah, well, all in all, he successfully swindled the person in charge because that time it was just a part timer who
Oh, yeah,
was
that
responsible.
sucks.
Yeah,
Oh, so
and
the guy who did this, he's a local or is he a foreigner?
based on the camera, he looks like a foreigner since he looks like a tall Chinese guy.
Uh huh, uh huh.
And somehow the police are being alerted
Mm-hmm.
by this
Yeah.
and are being strict.
Yeah, that's dangerous
by-
because he might hit other restaurants.
Yeah, so lately around our place, police are patrolling around 24 hours.
Since we're already talking about your workplace, wouldn't you mind sharing us what you do in Japan, Where do you work? What do you do for a living?
Yeah, I currently work at a uh, Chinese restaurant, but that Chinese restaurant specifically sells jumbo gyoza.
Okay.
Uh,
Is it good though? Is
yeah,
it good? Is the jumbo gyoza
it's
good?
it's best, man. I tell you, if you ever come to Japan, I'll treat you to our jumbo gyoza.
Yo, I'm taking up that offer. You know I ain't saying no to food.
Yeah, yeah, but it's not. It's just the specialty of our restaurant, and there are many foods there. You can even eat some set meals, or maybe some ramens, or anything you want.
So this restaurant is affordable, yes?
Not really.
Oh no.
It's quite expensive, but it's worth it.
Okay. So the price speaks for itself most of the time.
Yes.
If you want, maybe you can, tell people where to find it, not the specific name, but if people are listening and they want to visit that place.
Well, if you want to visit the place, you can just go to Ikebukuro near Don Quixote. You can find there the Jumbo Gyoza restaurant near Don Quixote. So you just hit me up if you want to know where specifically.
Uh-huh. This is in Tokyo, yes?
Yes, this is in Tokyo.
Just to not confuse the people. Which train station you think is it close to the train station or is it a bit further away?
No, it's actually so close to the train station just by the stoplight. So when you go out to the train stations, you just have a 2 to 3 minute walk from our restaurant. So it's not that far.
That's cool. So, if you guys are traveling to Japan and pass by Tokyo, if you want a jumbo gyoza, you know where to look. So, we will be pausing. We will be having a 5-minute intermission break, so to speak, so that our throats won't die and our laptops won't explode. This is where a gap happens. This is where a quote unquote break comes on, and if people want to advertise anything, or if you want to shout out, if you just want to promote anything, you can just message me and I'll put it here. It'll be in the middle of the video, and it's all fun, it's all good, and feel free to email us. So, welcome back. We are done from our break. Our bladders are already empty. Our stomachs are also empty. I'm getting a bit hungry, but how are you? Are you feeling okay?
I did everything I need to do.
Moving back to the question that I had earlier, you say that you ride the train a lot. This is correct, yes?
Yeah, yeah.
All right. So, this is also another question submitted by my girlfriend. She asked that based on experience, have you ever been in a situation or have you heard stories of commuting and women or even sometimes men getting sexually harassed?
Personal experience, I have none. But there's some news that covers this kind of story where in train stations, sometimes crowded inside the train, there are some people that's getting sexually harassed. And sometimes there are some people take this opportunity to do what they want to do. Especially there are some people, girls and guys. Some girls, some women sleep in the train, and that's when some people
Yeah.
take the opportunity to sexually harass them.
Why they sleep on the train because they're tired, something like that?
They're tired. Yeah, they just didn't get enough sleep, or they just want to sleep. I don't know, but most inside train, there are some women and men sleeping, even standing. They still sleep.
In your experience, how do you think people and local law enforcement tackle this? Are there signs posted that you might be sexually harassed, or is there like a warning before you go on the train?
No, actually, when you're inside the train, there's actually a hidden camera there. I didn't really notice it until recently. Uh,
Ooh, that's a warning for those people who,
yeah, I won't say where you can see it, but just know that there's a hidden camera there where that camera can see everything. And it's not just one camera. It's like inside the train, in one train car, I think maybe there's 5, or I think there's camera every in every door of the train car.
That's good.
Yeah, and there in the announcement they say that you might get sexually harassed, or if there are some suspicious people or bad people, you should report it to the local police, because in train stations there are some local police inside the station too. So if you want to go report a case or a crime, you can just go to any train station and report your worries or crimes or cases.
So there are ways to tackle. That's good to hear, and that's good to hear for people actually who are foreigners and want to travel to Japan. So if you ever have a problem while you're on the train, know that there are cameras and you can just report it to the train station, right?
Yeah, and they will as fast as possible solve your case.
That's good. That's good. So it's not really biased that only locals get a lot of attention.
No, 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 no. No, because this for people here, it's actually a heavy crime for in sexual harassment. It's a heavy crime, and people load those kind of people
Yeah, as it should.
as it should. It's something like you're not like them, because they themselves know that you should be good to other people. But if you do some kind of crime, people will look at you like you're not the same.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well, I think that's the case ever, but that's how heavy the crime would be, especially in sexual harassment.
So this question is for the people who want to possibly migrate to Japan. Do you know anything about how the healthcare system works in Japan?
I vaguely know about healthcare, but healthcare in Japan, if you pay taxes and healthcare, mostly your healthcare can be used in everywhere. Uh,
So
I,
is there like an
I
ID for you guys to use?
Yes, we have an ID that we use. There you can, in the ID, your name is there, the expiration date, your address, and any info that is needed there. And for example, you needed some medicines, or you wanted to get checkup. You just go in there, get yourself checked up, and normally the prices of medical checkup kind of expensive, but with healthcare, you just show them your card, and you get a
You
cheaper
you get
price.
you get a discount or
It's not like a discount, but it's a healthcare benefit.
oh yeah, yeah, it's part of the plan. So when it comes to the healthcare specifics, do you have like a specific company that you are subscribed to, or is it just generally healthcare for the people who live there?
No, it's a generally healthcare
So
because you can use
any citizen can avail this, whether you are
yeah
working or not.
yeah you just need to pay monthly,
Mm-hmm.
or
Mm-hmm.
you just need to ask the local here how to set up your own healthcare, and after that you can just go visit your pharmacy or hospitals, and everything will be cheap actually.
That's good because in the Philippines, people are dying while waiting for medication, or people are dying in public hospitals because there's not much doctors, there's not much healthcare workers. All of them are either moving to another country, or there's not much people there to be on hand. Have you ever experienced something like that there, or?
I don't think I've seen it. Even if there are so many patients in here, everyone is accommodated. And even if the hospital is not that big, know that not every hospital accommodates everyone. So uh, every everything has is divided. If you have a problem to your nose, there are some nose hospitals. If you have problem in your ears, there are some hospitals that accommodates ear problem.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And if you have maybe some common symptoms, maybe some cold, there are some local hospitals that you can go.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it depends on what sickness you have, and know that there are some specific hospitals that accommodate specific sickness.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good to hear. Okay, so stepping back a bit from the wonderful parts of Japan, is it all right for you to answer a bit of? I consider this a bit of a sensitive topic, since this question poses it questions whether or not this misconception is true, because as I've read and heard, some Japanese locals are xenophobic against gaijin. That's what they call foreigners, right? Gaijins.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So have you ever, since the first year that you came there, obviously you were not a citizen already. So have you ever experienced any xenophobia or maybe even racism as a
Mm,
gaijin?
no, actually, in in the 4 years I've been living here, I haven't experienced some xenophobic people, but rather everyone is nice to me, and even if I get something wrong, they'll just correct me rather than being uh what what do you call it,
Than being condescending.
something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But they will try to teach me the proper way or the right thing, rather than criticizing me or saying something mean to me,
Uh huh.
right? I
That's
don't
good.
know about other places, but I think most Japanese people are not xenophobic.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're really accommodating to gaijins.
Uh huh.
They're normally kind.
Mm-hmm. Maybe the I guess the stories of them being xenophobic must be from the gaijins being rude, because if what you're saying is true, that the Japanese locals, what do you call Japanese locals? Is it
Nihonjin.
Nihongjin? Uh,
Well, Jin means Japanese people.
so if the Nihongjin are actually very accommodating, that means the gaijin, most likely the gaijins were the ones who were causing trouble.
Well, yeah, we can say that there may be problems some gaijins, and we cannot just say everyone is really kind. You know, the
Mm-hmm.
world is not that white. It's not that white and black. There may be
Yeah,
some
yeah.
really xenophobic to gaijins. You
Mm-hmm.
know.
But it's good that in your 4 years you have not experienced anything related to xenophobia or racism.
Yeah, and I'm great. I'm really grateful for that.
Yeah,
You
that's
know.
good. That's good. Okay. Moving on to another question. This is actually a question that almost everybody asks, but since you are a person that I personally know, I want to know your opinion on this. How hard is it to live there if you don't know any Japanese at all? Like no kanji, no katakana, no even not even speaking.
uh, if we're going to talk about that, then I'll talk about the first time I lived here,
Uh huh.
which is 4 years ago.
Go ahead.
And I was actually lost everywhere because one, I didn't understand a thing. Two, even if there's English translated words,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it means.
Yeah.
Because it's just the word English translated. For example, the place. Even if the place is English translated, I don't know where it is headed to unless I look it up in my phone. You know, and living here is really hard at first, but somehow, uh, for maybe a few months actually, you'll get used to it, and maybe you won't get lost anymore.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And if what do you call it? If you know where you go, you can just use simple Japanese words like kore doko, which means where is this?
Ooh, so can you give us a few Japanese phrases that would help a brother out when it comes to even if you're just a tourist, you don't want to sound like a very incompetent child.
Well, one thing, if you're going to try to speak Japanese, is use this. Uh, I know this is commonly used.
It's like a meme, right?
Yeah, it's commonly used, but you should not use it as often as possible because it will make you sound like you're trying hard or you're not really thinking on what you say. So, for example, if you want to go to a specific place and you don't know where,
Mm-hmm.
just ask a local or a local police by saying "Kore wa doko desu ka?" Which means where is this
Oh,
place?
okay. And then you can just
And
say the name of the place.
yeah, you can just say the name of the place, or you can just point it out on your phone if you don't really
Mm.
know.
So, for example, let's say that I'm looking for a 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
I'll say, what is it? Can you repeat it?
Koko wa doko desu ka?
Koko wa doko desu ka?
Yes. Where is this?
Okay, so Koko wa doko desu ka 7-Eleven? You can say that.
No, because Koko wa doko desu ka? It's just you're just asking where is this place, and you're just
Okay, okay.
so if you want to ask a specific place,
Mm-hmm, yeah.
you'll say 7-Eleven wa doko desu ka?
Oh,
Rather than
okay.
you replace the Koko with the specific name of the place.
Oh, so it's you put it at the very beginning.
Yeah.
So, what are other survival Japanese phrases that you can impart upon future tourists that want to visit?
Other than traveling, well, actually,
Yeah,
you
kunyari,
don't have to ask.
very small conversational Japanese. We have this common friend. I won't say his name, but he visited. I think it was Osaka, and people there. I don't know. According to him, anyway, people there had a hard time understanding him and his mother because he does not talk Japanese. He does not speak the language. He does not write the language, and the people there have a hard time understanding his English. Or maybe the place that they visited is a bit more provincial, so to speak, and they had a hard time understanding his English. So, what advice can you give to people like that?
My advice would be try to compile as much as possible Japanese words that you think you will need to use. For example, on how you will ask this place, or where to eat a specific restaurant, or where will you to go to the restroom. You
Mm-hmm,
know,
mm-hmm.
you just need to look on the internet on how to ask people on Japanese, and maybe compile them in one memo, or
Yeah,
maybe in
yeah.
paper, maybe on your phone.
So, for example, I say I want to go to the restroom. What should I say?
Eto. Just like what I told you earlier, if you
Okay.
want to a specific place. In this case, restroom in Japanese is toire. So you're going to ask, toire wa doko desu ka?
Oh, okay. So like if you know doko desu ka, you'll survive almost anything.
Yeah, mostly you will survive.
Yeah. Because if you want to go somewhere, you just ask, like, for example, a police station. So you'll just say police station doko desu ka, or is there like a localized name for a police station?
Well, if they know what you're talking about, maybe they can point it out to you. But
Uh huh.
if they don't know the word police station, since not every Japanese people learns English, if you want to look for the police station, you'll say koban.
Koban.
Yeah, koban.
Koban is policeman, or
No, no,
oh
no.
no.
The police station
Oh, it's a
itself.
police station. All right, all right.
Yeah,
Okay.
the small police station where the assigned police is
Yeah, yeah. To defend the peace.
be there for the sexual harass people.
Yeah, when you do something bad, the koban is gonna come for your ass. So, what do you think are the Japanese traditions that have translated onto you? You know, having lived there for 4 years, do what do you think is now considered even a mixture of what you used to do here in the Philippines and traditions in Japan that you have adopted?
I think it's the Ohaka Ohaka Mairi, which is visiting the grave.
Ooh, all right.
Which is uh well, it's not like I like it, but you know, it's remembering the loved one that has passed away. You know, every year you visit their grave, offer some prayers, clean their graves.
Mm. So you clean random people's graves or relatives?
No, no, no. In this case, it's your relatives or
Okay,
maybe
okay.
your loved ones. Maybe it's your friend, maybe it's your grandmother, your grandfather, or maybe some relative that is close to you.
Uh-huh,
You
uh-huh.
go to their grave, offer up some prayers, lit up some sticks for them. And sometimes there are some families that gather there, just like how families gather up like a reunion, you know. But in that case, the deceased person is included in that gathering.
All right, all right. That's interesting because in the Philippines, we celebrate it, but it's considered an All Souls Day, All Saints Day kind of thing.
Yeah, but you know, not everyone go visit their loved ones
Yeah,
or maybe have time to
yeah.
go to their loved ones.
What other Japanese traditions you think have translated onto you? Do you go to the Shinto shrines or something like that?
Uh well, that would be uh visiting Shinto shrine would be New Year, the opening of New Year, which is at January 1st.
Mm-hmm.
You I don't know if it's a what do you call it, a normal thing to do or maybe just a tradition, but every 1st of January everyone goes to a shrine to pray and hope, ask for something they want to accomplish,
Ooh.
or maybe they want for that year. You know, they thank the gods for the year that has passed, and hopefully they will be guided to the future year. And that happens every 1st of January. You know, they make wishes too, and
Uh huh.
maybe some wishes get
I
granted. You
guess
know,
not enough people went to the shrines this year because 2020 turned out to be shit.
no actually no actually 1st of January there is a lot of people that went to shrine,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not really the coronavirus case yet, you know.
Yeah.
So normally there are a lot of people,
Uh huh. Uh huh.
but yeah, there's nothing changed uh this January 1st, you
Mm-hmm.
know. still, many people still went to the shrine to pray and go give their thanks.
How about lifestyle changes? Because
Yeah,
here in the Philippines, it's always the case that when you're eating, you eat with spoon and forks, and chopsticks aren't really a regular thing, or that often talked about lifestyle. I don't know if this is a lifestyle thing. That talked about in the internet where people always slurp when they eat noodles or something like that.
yeah, that's true because people eat ramen here with a loud slurp. They don't really uh, uh, they're not really ashamed to slurp loudly.
Uh-huh.
And lifestyle, there's so many that I adopted here, like being a responsible person, just like how I should be.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And mannerism, like maybe not mannerism, but self, what do you call it? Looking proper for others.
Uh-huh.
And your actions are, you monitor your actions because you don't know, maybe someone's watching you, you know, everything you do, you might be judged by locals. So that's the lifestyle I adapted.
You're more careful because you're not well, before you weren't a local. You weren't considered
Yeah.
a local. Yeah. So going on to that, are Japanese people truly peaceful? Like, are they more apolitical? They don't really, do all that rallying and activism stuff. Are they more peaceful in a sense that, they're more simple, in not like simple minded, but in a case that they don't really waste their time when it comes to there's like fights, or like overzealous patriotism, like some countries.
Na if we're going to talk about not being a politic, I think that's not true. People are still concerned for their country, and it's not. It's just that they don't rally as much as other countries do. They don't really go out and just protest, but they do it online or by the internet.
All right,
They
all right.
talk about politics on the internet, what's wrong with it, what should be done,
Yeah, yeah.
and they don't really rally that much. The one time I've only seen people rally is the problem with the America, which is Black Lives Matter,
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah.
that's when the news covered about Japanese people rallying and ending racism.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Because people here in Japan care about other people too, even if you're not Japanese.
Well, as you said, they are quite hospitable when it comes to gaijin, so I think that extends onto the internet.
Yes.
So, personal question, but what is it like making friends in Japan? Or if you can add, is there any dating experiences that you have in Japan?
Well, dating wise, I haven't experienced dating a local Japanese here, but
Uh huh.
if when making friends, it's really easy to make a friend with Japanese. Just know that they're not really that socialized. What do you call it? Sociable people until you get to know them, because there are some people who is really focused on work and maybe just forgot about socializing and hanging out with friends.
Mm-hmm.
But in my case, I socialize with my friends in the restaurant where I work, which is there are some Japanese people in there and there are some Vietnamese in there.
Talking about that, actually, because a friend of ours is also a Filipino. Her dad is a Nihongojin. And is it true that a lifestyle there, when it comes to work, is just work to home and a vice versa routine? Like, it's work home, work home. Would you say that it's true or not?
Well, it might be true to some other people, but the lifestyle would be work, and before they go home, other Japanese people go to pubs, go to bars, go to host clubs. They go waste themselves free from stress because work here is really hard, especially when you're a white collared worker. The stress you gets piled up, and maybe you can contain it. So that's when the host clubs, entertainment clubs, karaoke bars
Mm-hmm.
goes in. That's
Mm-hmm.
where white collared persons, everyone go to those kind of places just to release their stress. So there may be some workers that goes from work and home and vice versa, but most people, before going home, they go to where they want to, like cafes, entertainment clubs, karaoke bars, pubs. Maybe they eat at a restaurant before going home, drinking somewhere, something among those lines.
I see. I see. Well, it's good to know that maybe she's just, I don't know. Maybe she just glorified the loner lifestyle. So you don't have any problems when it comes to having coworkers in Japan. Since you are not a full Nihongo-jin.
No, no, no. They're actually cool with me. They go, what do you call it? They don't really mind even if I'm a gaijin, because it's not like I'm a different person. It's just you just need to know that you should be kind to them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If when they do something, you are included. They just don't do it with just the Japanese people, but everyone's included in the fun.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So circling back to going around Japan, have you ever been to Akihabara?
Yeah, I used to be in Akihabara weekly.
Ooh, all right. Can you tell us what is it like?
Akihabara is
Is
actually
it as is it as good as people say it is?
yeah, actually, if you're a fan of a computer fan, or maybe you're an anime fan or manga fan, or maybe anything you want, or maybe you just want to explore Akihabara, it's a go place to be, because it's like half of there will be computer parts and computer related things, and half of it is anime related things. And maybe and I think some people know about this, but Akihabara has maid cafes.
Ooh, yeah. Well, I don't really. I'm not really a super fan of slice of life, but I got into this small phase when I kept searching for what it's like to be inside a maid cafes, and I saw a few videos. And have you ever been in one? And would you consider taking me to one when I go there?
Actually, I haven't been to maid cafe because I don't know. It's it's not really my type of thing. But if you're coming here, maybe we too can go to the maid cafe and explore the inside of what maid cafe really is.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
We can make a video.
Yeah. No, no, no. Actually, there are some maid cafes that prohibits
Oh
taking
yeah. Well,
pictures
there might be
inside them.
weird guys. Yeah,
Yeah.
weirdos that like taking pictures of girls without their permission.
Yeah. So it's it's invading of privacy after all.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So
So, circling back as well, for you, what is Saitama like? Is it the ideal place to settle to? Because if people want to uh, uh, migrate to Japan and, contribute to the country, do you think that settling to Saitama as compared to like Tokyo or Kyoto or some other city is good? Like, if you can, in a short pitch, like, sell us how good living in Saitama is like.
living in Saitama would be like quite cheaper than living in Tokyo because the only disadvantage of it is you're just not in Tokyo. But if you want to go cheaper, maybe you can find a place to stay at Saitama, which I think have some cheaper rents on the apartments. Or maybe if you want to buy a house, there are some cheaper houses in Saitama, especially where I
With
live.
your, I don't want it to be a bit personal, but do you think with how much you earn, you can be able to afford an apartment in Saitama? Because I've seen people complain online that apartments, in Japan are quite expensive. And what's your take on that?
Well, with my current uh, what do you call it? With my current salary, I can probably live by myself, but it's not enough because I might be short on money since I'm just a part timer
Mm-hmm,
at
mm-hmm.
a restaurant. And yeah, if you want to live in an apartment, you should probably think of sharing an apartment with someone else if you want to go cheaper.
Mm-hmm. But it's not like because I've seen people say that it's a hassle to move in and out of apartments, to like search for apartments. In your experience in Saitama, where are you? Are you living in a house or are you living in an apartment?
I live in a house. Well, I used to live in an apartment, and if you want to look for an apartment, there's actually some companies that helps you out to look for some apartments, and they ask you what kind of apartment are you looking for. They take what you need, or they take note of what you want on the apartment you want to live to. They take note of how big the apartment room is, or how far is it from the train station.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
every detail is needed for them to look for the, well, not perfect, but
The ideal. Yeah.
yeah, the ideal apartment place.
So living in Saitama, is it like more provincial or is it more metro like Quezon City, Cubao?
For me, it's more of a provincial because there's not many buildings in here, and not that lively as Tokyo.
All right. Well, at least, diba? If ever you guys want to migrate somewhere, Saitama sounds like a good place. It's not one of the well-known ones as compared to the other cities.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, moving on to another question. This is more of a personal question as well. What do you plan to accomplish in Japan?
Well, I just plan to really live a normal life. I'm not really the type of guy to aim high, but I just wanna live life the way I want to be.
Mm-hmm. The simple life, yeah.
Simple life, the life I want to do everything what I want, and not being a burden to my parents, or maybe when to my family when I start one. I just wanna have a stable, simple life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not that much big, but that's good for me.
So living in Japan, do you feel like you have more responsibilities? Like as a Japanese quote unquote Japanese citizen as compared to what you used to have here?
Well, rather than responsibilities, because I'm in Japan, it's because we get older, and responsibilities uh is something
Yeah, it's
we normally,
inevitable.
yeah. And maybe it's just in Japan you just realize you have more responsibilities than you thought you have. You know,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
you you start to realize you need to do this and that, and you need to do everything, well, not on your own. Maybe some people can help you, but your responsibilities are what you need to take
Mm-hmm.
responsible of.
It's good to know that wherever you are in the world, responsibilities are always there to make your life hell. Okay, do you feel like you live a better life in Japan? Are opportunities there abundant?
Well,
as compared to here in the Philippines?
yeah, you know, I used to live in Philippines, right? And in Philippines, it was fun. Having to hang out with you guys, with my friends.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Just doing what I want to do, not minding anything. But in Japan, you can do what you want, but uh, there's still responsibilities you needed to do as an adult.
Uh-huh.
You know. It's better in here since everything's what do you call it? Everything is life in Japan is like better than Philippines. Jobs are not scarce,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
if you don't want to work full time, you can just work a part time, just like myself.
And
In
it's good enough to no buy stuff because you were able to afford a laptop, right?
Yeah, I can afford a laptop from my money. I help my parents from the bills.
See.
Even I'm just a part-time worker. Opportunities are really actually abundant. There is actually a pamphlet or a book that has job opportunities.
Yeah. Job listings.
Yeah, job listings. You can look there or maybe online
Uh-huh.
on which job you may find you might find the job you're looking for, or maybe what your hobbies and what you want to do might align with that job.
Yeah.
There's so
That's
many
cool.
opportunities.
It's good to know that no, the society itself is helps unlike here. Everybody is at each other's throats. You know, jobs and opportunities are a bit scarce.
Yeah, maybe if you go here you can work at anime stores, man.
Oh, that would be the dream. What's anime do you suggest? I like Boku no Pico.
Well, everyone recommends it, so
Yeah,
it's
it's probably
good.
good. Yeah, we should watch it.
Yeah.
Live stream, watch Boku no Pico. Okay, so what do you think is the biggest barrier when it comes to being a foreigner or a gaijin? Since you experienced being a foreigner for like a year, right? Before you
Yeah.
started to settle in.
So maybe the biggest barrier would be making friends and acquaintances, because
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
as a foreigner you don't really get to much socialize with people unless they're from the same work, or maybe the same neighborhood you live in.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Well, in my case, the neighborhood here are all elders
mm-hmm,
and maybe some children, so I'm not really that acquainted to many people.
mm-hmm,
And my friends are just my coworkers at work,
mm-hmm,
so I don't really have that much friends to hang out with.
mm-hmm.
So I think that's the biggest barrier for me
Yeah,
as a foreigner living in Japan.
that's all right. So that people have an idea as well.
Yeah.
This is also a personal question. Do you think Japan is where you see yourself settling until you retire? Or do you think that other people should set their sights to Japan as well when they think they're ready to retire?
Yeah, if I want to retire, I want to retire here in Japan, because there are some benefits on here. Well, if you did your pension, you can get your pension when you retire.
Mm-hmm.
And elder people, well, not everyone, but if their family can't take care of them, they can always leave their grandmother or grandfather at the elder home, which they take care of them until a certain amount of time, maybe past 6 o'clock or 8 o'clock. They will take care of them until you go home. Elder people are taken care too. They
Mm-hmm.
just don't leave them alone.
Mm-hmm.
They are taken care of. But that's not really the case at all. There are some elder people that lives alone, and sometimes they just die alone without anyone knowing, which is
Mm-hmm.
kind of sad.
So that's actually one of the questions that I want to ask. Is because I saw it in like a documentary of people committing suicide. Is it really as rampant as they say it is there?
Yes, actually, maybe in 1 week there are 3 to 4 cases of suicide the news covers,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe not 3 to 4, but not that rare too. It's not that rare when some people commit suicide because they're alone. Maybe they can live their life anymore here in Japan because of the pressure of their work, because they can't have it anymore. Yeah, so the documentary you watch is probably right.
That's a bit sad, but you know. Another well, moving on to much more deeper questions. Do you have any experience when it comes to the religion side of things in Japan? Because I heard that Japanese people are they're not technically atheists, but they're also not technically that too religious. Because I saw this also a mini documentary. I'll pull it up if I remember to put it in post. But it talks about the Japanese visiting Shinto shrines not as an act of religion, but is actually an act of tradition.
Uh, Shinto religion is actually just uh, it's like a people's behavior. Uh, com- uh, what do you call it? People's natural trait turned into God. You know,
Ooh, alright.
Shinto is have many gods that is divided to what people needs. For example, there is a god of fortune, there is a god of studying, there is god of health, you know, the
Mm-hmm.
god of love. There are so many
Mm-hmm.
gods in Shinto religion that people praise to. You know,
Yeah.
it's for them to help. You know, they pray because they want to accomplish this specific thing. You know, for example, a student praying to a shrine, a shrine that recites a god that helps students get better in their studies.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And there are some shrines that God where God resides that helps people be healthy.
Mm-hmm.
So
So yeah, so Japanese people aren't technically atheists, or would you say they are?
I don't think they're atheists, nor I don't think they're religious.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
They're more
what you
of
said,
an agnostic.
yes,
Mm.
they're in the middle.
Does living in Japan give you more things to do?
Yes. You have many things to do. Well, first, your adult responsibilities. You know,
Mm-hmm.
your houseworks and everything you normally do. Next
But
will be your
uh,
taxes.
more things in a sense that as compared here in the Philippines, you're more free to like, let's say, roam the countryside, do more jogging, nature walks, picnics, hiking, visiting shrines, visiting mountain temples, stuff like that.
Yeah, people do that when they have free time. You know, it's not
Mm-hmm.
that rare because actually, when you live in Japan, you'll notice many people jog around. Maybe some people watch baseball plays outside,
Ooh, yeah, yeah.
and just some people are just taking a break and just eating out. You know, hanging out with their friends or maybe their coworkers,
Uh huh, uh huh.
and you actually have many things to do in Japan.
Yeah, that moves on to the next question. How are your hobbies while you stay in Japan? Have you picked up new ones? Are you still sticking to your old hobbies?
Well, in Japan, I actually pick up some hobbies like going to a baseball dome. For
Ooh,
example,
yeah, that's
I
cool.
personally I never played baseball, but there is a nearby baseball dome here. I thought, why not try it? So I only needed a 200 yen
Mm-hmm.
for me to play. It's you can rent out a bat there, and then there's a machine
Ooh, that's cool.
out some balls in the and you can just swing a few rounds just to
Yeah.
sweat out and you just release some stress,
Damn,
which
I
is
wanna do that. I
yeah,
wanna do that, bro.
hobbies I pick up while I was in Japan.
Mm-hmm. How about your old hobbies like gaming, or are there other hobbies that you did? Especially, watching anime, reading manga.
Actually, anime, when it comes to animes, I'm actually near stopping watching and reading because one, not everyone really sees anime as something people do, but I know this one worker of mine where she saw this anime figure that was on my bag and she asked if it was mine. And I just said no, I got it from a friend. And she said, oh, I thought it was you bought it by yourself because I don't think it fits me. And I just thought maybe she doesn't really see me as someone who really likes anime. And I thought maybe not everyone really likes anime though. Just
Yeah,
like
yeah.
not not like what many people think of, you know.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Well, anime is normal, but not everyone likes it, you know.
Yeah.
Especially they uh when they buy merches and use it outside, which is kind of normal to see,
Yeah. Because there
especially
are
in
some
Akihabara.
clothes that are good, dude. Like, I myself, I'm outfits from Araki, Hirohiko Araki, the guy who wrote JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. He collaborated, I think, with Vans and Gucci, clothes that are actually good.
Yeah, commonly seen animes here are normal, but most one thing to note is Japanese people likes uh anime idols and idols itself.
Ooh, so idols like girl groups?
Yeah, girl groups. What just like Love Live, the idol anime.
Mm-hmm.
Many people actually like that anime here in Japan,
Mm-hmm.
and I've seen quite a few wearing a merch or maybe having a merch in their bags or yeah, keychains. I've seen many uh, anime girl group merch on them. So I think it's safe to say uh, many people like idols or anime idols or maybe generally just kawaii things or cute things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, one of the things that I look forward to if ever I will be able to visit there is obviously buying a figurine of a JoJo character, maybe getting some mangas, and food.
Yeah, probably.
Food is the number one thing. You know me,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah. Yeah, but when you come here, we will not just pick what you want. We'll explore what you don't know, and maybe I don't something I don't know too. You
Yeah.
know,
Have you ever attended a test of courage?
no.
No. But you're familiar with the test of courage.
Yeah, I'm familiar. Courage only goes when you're hanging out with friends on a trip, you know, and maybe if you go out in the forest,
You
test
do
of
cool
that's
stuff.
where test of courage comes in. You know, you go roam in the forest, go a specific place, and then go back. That's where the test of courage is. But in my case, when we travel, I just roam around the stalls, eat some food, play some games when we go out. So I haven't really tested out test
Your
of courage.
courage. Actually, those are all the questions that I have. Thank you very much for giving us the time of day and imparting us with your knowledge when it comes to the Japanese life, culture, and lifestyle. If there are any other questions that you guys want to ask, feel free to put it in the comments below or email us, and we'll try to answer those questions and possibly another episode if this thing does well. By the way, do you have anything that you want to promote or you want to shout out? Thank you for your time. Really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you too, man.
Yeah, thank you. That's it for us. This is the ending of Broad Talks. If you liked it, please share. Don't forget to, like the video. As I said earlier, any other questions that you want, you can just shoot at us down below, or you can forward it to us, DM us, or tweet at us. I will be showing all of the social media links in either the description or within the video itself. This has been Broad Talks and me, your host, TAB Cobalt. Remember to admire perfection, but always aim for amazing. We'll catch you guys again real soon. Real quick, can you tell us how to say goodbye in Japanese? Like a more formal goodbye.
Sayonara.
How about we'll see you again next time?
Well, there's no formal way to say see you again, but mostly we say mata, which is see you again.
So sayonara matane.
Yeah.
So say goodbye to everybody listening.
Sayonara, mata ne.